the channel. Jeff just joined as a member. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate that. This video, this online workout, this free senior self-defense training is all about generating more power. Now, this will work for you if you are smaller. It doesn't matter if you're older or not. This works against a stronger opponent. This is just general common sense, but it's not always understood. It's not always employed. It's not always taught. So I'm going to give you 3 different categories. The first one is going to be how to properly strike so you can generate the most power. The second one is going to be some things that you can do to strike to increase your overall power, what you would strike with. And then the third thing are some of these tools that we have that a senior or any person can carry that you can use to increase or generate more power, more knockout power, more stop the fight power. When someone is stronger than you, maybe they have a knife, maybe it's multiple opponents. It doesn't matter if you're a senior or not, but this is senior self-defense. This applies to seniors, applies to anybody who wants to better defend themselves in a street fight self-defense situation or any self-defense situation. The first thing that I'm going to show you is extension. Most people, when they punch, will extend their arm and not go all the way out. So this part here, this elbow stays bent. If it's a kick, it's the same idea. The knee doesn't fully extend, and so the punch goes out a little bit. There's no commitment in the strike. So when they hit something, we're gonna call this bag the opponent. I'm gonna roll them in a little bit closer. Sorry, I'm getting blown up with all these messages. It's a little distracting. I'm trying to get on track fast, so I appreciate your patience with me. Hello to everybody who's here right now. This first thing that you have to do is a full extension. So to generate more power, whether you're a senior, if you're learning senior self-defense, or you're just somebody who wants to stop a bigger opponent, you're going to have to fully extend when you strike, whether it's a punch, a palm strike, an elbow strike in, a knee strike, or if you're kicking some way, headbutting, any of those strikes are appropriate strikes when you are attacking the right target for self-defense. So targets are going to be things that you can remove or destroy. Nose, eyes, teeth, throat. Soft targets, you're going to strike with a hard fist or a hard palm or a hard elbow. The throat or in the solar plexus here. So you're going to maximize what you have naturally. But to get more power, to generate more power, more stopping power, more ending the fight power, the first thing you have to know is that you have to practice extending the technique. Extend the arm. If it's a punch, that's fully out from the wrist through the elbow, fully extended. Now see how that's a long straight line? In a punch, you're also going to turn that hand over a little bit to concentrate all that force right there on those 2 big knuckles. So that's the first thing you have to do to generate more power. Senior self-defense, generating power comes from extending fully your striking arm or leg, or like I said, you could be doing an elbow. If you're thinking of an elbow strike, of course the elbow doesn't go straight, you keep it bent. That would mean pushing as far forward as you can and not just twisting coming through. A lot of times people will strike with the elbows and they'll sweep across the target. We'll go over that again in a minute from now because we're going to talk about the elbows, be using the elbows to generate more power. The second thing you have to do if you want to generate more power, in addition to extension, all the way, full extension of the technique, is turning the shoulders and the hips. Rotation around the spine. When you rotate around your spine, you not only increase the length, the distance that you have to strike with. So in other words, you can now strike and go through the target. You increase your distance because you're turning your shoulder, but you're also generating more force, more power, more speed. And when you are older, you're not as strong, you need as much force as possible. And again, you're going to concentrate on easy to destroy targets, like the eyes, eyesight, their ability to see, their ability to breathe through their nose or their mouth, through the throat permanently for self-defense, through that solar plexus. But when you strike, you have to fully extend and turn that shoulder. Now, when you start to turn that shoulder, you're doing what most people don't know how to do. Most people, unless they've taken a boxing class or they've spent some time in a traditional martial arts class where they're striking, if they've never done that, they don't know how to punch with more than just the arm. In other words, most people, when they think about punching, they just punch straight this way. and street fighters. If you've been to the penitentiary and you learn how to fight from the brothers and sisters in jail, whatever, those guys know how to fight, right? But short of that, if you haven't taken any of those self-defense classes, in your mind, when you punch just with the arm. When you punch to stop a fight, as a senior, when you're learning senior self-defense, or if you need to fight a bigger opponent or multiple opponents, you need to generate the most force possible. And if you punch with just the arm, you will have very little power. Think about how much muscle is in your arm or any one person's arm. Even if they have a bigger arm. If they're a bigger person and you have a smaller arm, even if you have a bigger arm, it doesn't really matter, because if you don't punch correctly, you're not going to stop them. They're just going to keep coming and you're in trouble. If you turn your shoulders and your hips and you're pushing off of the floor, and we're going to go down to the floor in a second, and you're turning and punching through, now you're hitting them with your entire body weight. By punching properly, extension first and twisting second. Remember, twisting through the midline, coming through that midsection. This is called the transverse plane. Anytime you fight, you're going to fight in the transverse plane, coming across. So by extending and turning, even on this first punch, if you were to jab with the front hand, you do the full extension, but you also are going to turn into your jab, your first punch. A lot of people jab because they don't know how. Maybe they take a title boxing class, and it's a great workout, but it's not necessarily technical. And then they're just punching. They're just tapping the bag. This is not a jab. This is a jab. Your jab should be like a pole that runs into their face and keeps them back. Your jab should be able to stop somebody. Don't tap when you practice. So practicing your self-defense moves, senior self-defense or self-defense against the bigger opponent, start first with full extension. Second, practice turning through the middle. Now, all of this comes from a video that I saw recently of an Asian gentleman, and it looked like maybe his son or an employee in Ireland. I think it was Ireland of all places. And this man was being picked on because he's Asian. I think it was just a jerk picking on anybody, but maybe it was because he was Asian, maybe it was racist. Maybe, I don't know what the backstory is. All I see is the video. I didn't listen to the audio. But this older gentleman, much, much older, probably 60s, maybe 70s, he's standing there. The young kid who's next to him keeps trying to kick this punk thug who keeps coming in, trying to mess with him, swinging punches at him. And the young kid's kicking at him. He keeps missing. When he does hit him, it does nothing. The older gentleman, when he wants him out of the store, he moves and he shoves him. And I just knocked down my bag, so I got to pick it up. The reason he is able to shove him and push him out of the store, this older gentleman who is easily 6 to 8 to 12 inches shorter than the thug. He's probably 40 years older than the young punk thug. The reason this older gentleman, the senior, is able to defend himself so effectively and push the guy out of his store is because of the way he's moving his body, which is the next thing that I want you to learn. I'm going to move the camera, and then I want to tell you about how this video ends. If you haven't seen it, if you have seen it, don't give the spoiler. It's a great video. I'm going to try to find the link and put it here below so you can go back and watch what happens when a senior uses these 3 principles and knocks the guy out. I just spoiled it. He knocks him out. At the end, he just 1, 2. And then to make things better, when you watch the video, he does a 1, 2, and he moves out of the way instinctively as the guy goes unconscious to the floor. So the senior citizen, and you see this a lot these days, and I had one of my clients send it to me. He's in his 70s. He said, "What do you think of this? Is this something I could do?" I said, "This is what we practice every single training session." Of course, this is what you can do. It's a calm mind. It's standing your ground. It's not getting all nervous and running your mouth. It's because you've done the breathing. But it's those 3 principles. He's extending his arm, he's turning the shoulder, and he's moving his body into the attack. Now, the third way to generate maximum power, maximum stopping power, knockout power for senior self-defense or anybody who has to fight a bigger opponent, if it's a bigger street fight for self-defense, the third way, and I want to back up so you can see my feet, is to move your body. Move your body into the attack. Now, here's a caveat. Here's an important thing that you have to understand. A lot of people, when they move their body forward, but their feet never move. And what they're doing is they're leading with their chin, and then they get knocked out. don't lead with your chin. Don't lean your body forward. You're going to move, your hands are here, your hands stay in front of your body like the bumper of a car. The hands are here like the bumper of the car. When your car drives down the street, it doesn't move around the bumper, moving around, hitting cars as it goes by. It just stays there, just in case. It never moves. And then if something hits that bumper, it might crumple a little bit, but the car will move back behind the bumper. The bumper protects the body of the car, protects the frame of the car, protects the car's grill, protects your grill. Get them up. So from here, you're moving your body in with the punch. Now remember I said the old man shoves the guy out of his store. And because the old man is, and I say old man, I mean he's got to be 60s, 70s, the senior citizen, the senior who's defending his business, his dignity, his word, his name, his health, his life. Probably the young man who was with him, maybe that was his son or his grandson. He's protecting or maybe somebody works for him. He's protecting all those people. The senior citizen's doing that because he has the training and he has that calm mind. I want you to have a calm mind, and it gets more calm with training. Prepare or panic. Watching this video, practicing these 3 basic techniques: extension, turning, and remember that first one you extend, but you turn into, if it's that jab, if it's a palm strike, if it's an elbow strike, which we're going to go over in a minute, as we generate more power to stop the bigger opponent, you're also going to move your body in. So in this video, when it comes time, this is a video I saw, I'm going to put the link below. When it comes time for this man, he has no other choice. The young kid's swinging at him, he's swinging at the other guy, he's interrupting his business, he's trying to harm him, harm others. The guy just pop, pop, 1, 2. And the senior citizen knocks that young punk clear to the ground, knocks him out cold. He goes down, his eyes are closed, maybe they're rolled back in his head, doesn't matter. Crashes in the doorway, and then the cops come and scoop him up. I love stories like that. I love it that we have videos of that. But the way he did that, I watched it again and again and again because I had this client. He said, how did this happen? How was he able to do that? Because it always exists in your mind. I'm getting older. Can I still defend myself and my family? Yes, you can if you employ these 3 techniques at a minimum, right? Start with that extension. Turn those shoulders and then moving your body in, committing. So now your entire body weight, however much you weigh, is hitting him in the jaw, right? Hitting him right in the chin. Your entire body weight hitting him in the chin, then you're moving forward. So now it's not just your body weight, it's your body in motion. And when you hit, you don't have to be as fast as you used to be. You don't have to be as agile as you used to be. Most people who are going to attack other people, most thugs, punks, criminals, jerks, whatever you want to call them, they're not trained fighters. They're not, if they were, they'd have some common sense. They'd have some values in life. They wouldn't be doing that. Or they're high on drugs, or they're drunk on alcohol. And so they're not moving well anyway. You just take a deep breath and you ground yourself, and you, in your mind, you ask yourself the question, what targets am I going to remove or destroy? And that old man said, I'm going to turn off his operating system. I'm going to reboot that messed up operating system that's running his head because he's got something wrong with him, and just pop, pop, real quick. And as he did it, he was moving his body. His hand came forward, his shoulder turned, and then he moved to the side to prepare for what happened next. What really happened next was the kid was unconscious and fell to the ground, but if he had thrown a counterpunch, he would have been to the side, pop, pop, probably would have hit him 5 or 6 more times. Beautiful to watch. Beautiful to watch. I'm going to put that link, I've got to find it. I think it was on Twitter or something. Some of you may have seen it already. But I want to go over that real quick, and then I'm going to show you the weapons that you have that generate more force. And it's common sense, but if you don't train it, if you don't think about it, it doesn't come to you naturally. So senior self-defense, how to generate more power to stop the attack. You're going to extend on all of your strikes, whether they're punches or palm strikes or elbow strikes, knees, or whatever else. If you happen to have a weapon in your hand for self-defense, you have to extend. You have to have commitment on the strike. Number 2, turn through your spine. Pivot through. Almost everybody, if they're untrained, they just punch with the arm. And however strong your arms are or are not, that's as strong as your punch is. It's very little punch. It might seem scary, but it's not, right? Catches you off guard, but it's not going to drop somebody who's high on drugs or who's trying to hurt you. You have to mechanically stop them. That means hit them so hard that their brain resets and they go unconscious. Hit them in the neck and hit that, the vagal process or whatever it's called, hit the nerves in the neck, the blood flushes their brain, they're unconscious. Hit them so hard in the solar plexus that the diaphragm goes into a spasm and they can't catch their breath and they fall to the ground thinking they're gonna die. Hit them in the throat, that's fatal. That elbow, driving that elbow in and through, and that brings us to the next category. The second category is what tools you have that are gonna be hard to, that are gonna generate more force to stop the attack. So if you're senior self-defense, you're learning senior self-defense, or you're training any kind of self-defense, you wanna think in terms of elbows and forearms and this part right here, this little 5 bones right there. That's the hardest part of your hand, and taking that and going straight in to the throat. I don't know if you remember this. There was a movie with Sean Connery, the old 007, and he's like plays a colonel or a lieutenant colonel maybe, and the guy calls him a major, and he's some drunk. You know, it's a movie. It's fake. But he takes his thumb, and he's like, I'm going to beat you with this thumb. And he goes about doing it, right? But it's generating all the force of a strike into a smaller point and knowing where to strike. Now, I don't want you to learn, you can, but I don't want you to have to focus on learning all kinds of pressure points, because in that movie, he used all these pressure points that do work for self-defense. You can learn that, but that takes a long time. I want you to think in more simple terms. Nose, teeth, throat, straight through the middle, because it's hard to miss the middle, right? If I say, take this thumb and you're gonna go in, you're gonna hit him right in the temple, or you're gonna come into the back of the neck, or you're gonna come up into the ribs or into the kidney or back into the liver, you're gonna do a liver shot. Yeah, you can learn all that, but instead of spending your time learning that at first, in the meantime, learn how to go straight through the center. Now, going straight through the center, you're gonna use elbows, and when you strike with the elbow, and you're gonna be surprised at how hard these strike. These are extremely hard, except when people learn them in class, they look like this. And they don't look strong at all, and they get frustrated and they say, elbows don't work for me. And they're throwing elbows like this, and they're literally rubbing their elbow past the target. That's because a proper elbow, this type of elbow, doesn't just come through the center, there's the turn, but it also moves forward and through. So if you're striking the temple, you're moving forward and through, or the jaw, right? You're going to remove their eyesight, their ability to breathe through their mouth and nose. Maybe you're coming straight into the neck. Maybe they're taller than you and you have to break a few ribs. Your palm will face the ground. That's going to put this bony surface forward. Anywhere that you hit them here is going to be good. This is going to be best, but this is also going to be good all the way through here. You can close your hand to make it a little stronger or keep it open. Doesn't really matter. You're turning this way and pushing forward at the same time. Turn and move forward. Remember I said when you can move your body in, and don't move your body in like this. You lead with your jaw, you're gonna get knocked out. You lead with your foot. So your foot, stepping in, stepping to the side, stepping back. When you move your body, don't do the Matrix. You're not Floyd Mayweather, right? And if you are Floyd Mayweather, what are we doing? What are we talking about? You're teaching me. But move your body by moving your feet. Get in the habit of practicing moving your body by moving your feet. So you have this elbow strike. When this palm is down, if you turn it here, I just pointed all the muscles and the nerves at the opponent. Now that's going to be kind of effective. It's harder to turn all the way through, and it's going to hurt you more. So turn here, you're not going to feel much. That's all bone. His jaw is going to come popping off his face, or his eyeball sticks out, or you crack his skull a little bit, or send that rib right into his lungs, and he's coughing up blood for self-defense. But it's this turning motion while you're moving forward. The second thing is using that same elbow, but just pushing straight forward. Now, why do you go forward? Your target is here, right in the throat, and you're coming up and into the throat. And they might try to defend that, but you're moving with your feet. You're stepping forward. And then you bring that other elbow forward as they're worried about this one coming at their throat, and then catch them in the jaw. But use your elbows, use your forearms. One more way you can use your elbow is straight up and in. Now, the solar plexus is here, the jaw is here. If you can, and it's the same as the other one, just like you're turning and moving forward, you're coming up and moving in at the same time. How do you move in? Move your feet, coming up and in. Coming up, hitting under the chin, break his jaws, teeth snap together, maybe break a couple teeth for self-defense, or into the throat, that's fatal, or into the solar plexus, put them on the floor, but up and in. And then that didn't stop him, throw the other elbows back to the head. Now, to generate maximum force, to generate the most power to stop the attack when you're a senior, for senior self-defense or any kind of self-defense, is close one hand and cover it. Hello, Richard from Tallahassee. You're gonna come in here. I hope it's beautiful up there as it is down here today. It's beautiful all over Florida today, I think. But when you grab your hands, now you can take this and push right into his face, his eyeballs, his nose, break the nose, smash the teeth down their throat. You're very powerful in this position when you're holding your own hands. If they grab you by the wrists, you're going to have to hold your hand in order to smash his hands back, and then elbows to the face, stepping in and pushing. Trust me, it works. It works with the little kids, it works with the teenagers, it works with the big adults, and it works with the seniors. Every single one of them, when I teach it and they get it and it locks in because they practice a little bit, I have to go to defending my head, because if I don't, they're hitting me in the jaw, and I'm not letting them do it. If someone grabs you by the wrists, you grab your hands. If it's a bigger opponent, senior self-defense or any kind of self-defense, street fight self-defense, fighting the bigger opponent, bigger attacker, grab your own hand, and then you have a lot more leverage, a lot more force. From here, drive this straight into the face, into the throat, down into the body. Now, let's talk about using some tools, some weapons for self-defense. Sunny day in Huntington Beach, California too. Yes, so Huntington Beach, beautiful. Beautiful out in Huntington Beach. Let me show you this first. This is a yawara, also known as, some people call them a kubaton, or a pocket stick, or a palm stick, a yawara, and you can carry it in many different ways. And a lot of times when people see these, now this one has a window breaker. I carry this in my car. This is my glove box. I took it out, brought it in here to show you, because there's so many canals down here. There's so much water around Florida. Everywhere you go, there's water. There's the ocean, but then there's just water everywhere. Cars get stuck in the water, roll on their side, get submerged in the middle of the night. People don't find them for a week. And the person is still inside, right? And they've drowned, they've suffocated, then they drown. And it's because when you go into the water I'm a senior, what are you talking about? I qualify for the AARP. He said no senior defending himself. I don't have anybody to attack me. Come on down and I will give you a free class. You can help me demonstrate. But the point is, if you're in your car and you have one of these, you can pick it up and just pop the window and it pops open. The water comes in, you swim out. So that's a safety device. But this yawara palm stick, a lot of people think you put it in your hand and then you punch with it. That you can, as long as you do the first three things we talked about: extension, turning, and moving your body. But you can also use this to generate the force into the tip. So you put your thumb there, and then this comes out here. That's a nasty tip, by the way. And you can then go straight in with those jabbing motions into the throat. But you can also hold it in this position and do the same thing. If you go back to that thumb, put all your force into the thumb right there, coming into the throat. You can go into the throat, you can go into the eyes, you can go into the nose, you can go right into the solar plexus. You can have more force with this palm stick, this yawara, coming straight in. It's extremely effective for generating more force to stop a bigger opponent, and it's just super, super simple. Casey asked, have I ever been in a real life self-defense situation? Yes, I have, Casey. Much more often when I was a young Marine, and then I was a Marine military policeman. And, when I was younger than that, all the stupid things that I did and the dumb places I shouldn't have been. And then older and older, and at some point you learn how to not be there. You learn how to walk away. You learn how to defend yourself with your mind and your eyes and situational awareness and being able to speak up for yourself. I have in recent days, within the last couple of weeks, had several, not physical altercations, but strong conversations with some very aggressive homeless who are now starting to move into the neighborhood. And this is why I'm doing these videos, because a lot of you are reaching out to me and saying that you're starting to see more aggression around you. And we're watching the news. We're seeing more news stories of people being attacked out of the blue, out of nowhere. And the thugs, the punks, the criminals are going after people who seem helpless. It's not like they're coming up, squaring up toe to toe with someone. You know, they're not looking for Floyd Mayweather to pick a fight. They're looking for somebody that they think will be an easy mark. And so we're starting. I love this fist. This is my favorite. I call that the knuckle fist. The knuckle fist is one of my favorite. You roll these in, that comes in there, this supports it, and then you stick that right in his eye, or stick that in his throat, or come around, hit that right there in that mandibular joint behind the jaw. But that takes a little bit more training. This one, if you don't have a lot of training, that's the other purpose of doing these videos. I want to give, if you're seniors and you're looking for self-defense and you haven't done a lot of fighting, I've been doing martial arts since I'm 9. So if you haven't been doing martial arts for a long time, you never did a boxing class, but you still want to be able to defend yourself, or you felt like you used to, you haven't trained for a long time, you want to get back into shape, you want to be able to defend yourself now, because the world seems a little crazy, which it is. There's some simple things that you can do. The first thing is I want you to know how to extend your punches, extend your palm strikes, turn through the shoulder and move your body, go through the target, full commitment on the strike, and you're gonna generate a lot more force to stop. Most people punch like this because they don't know how to punch. They're just punching from the hand. They're doing the same thing with kicks, but I'm gonna say learn how to punch, learn how to do palm strikes and elbows. Don't worry about the feet for now. Learn the feet, but make that like an interest or a passion. Learn this for self-defense. Something like this, the pocket stick, the Uwara stick, that's just a way to generate more force. But don't think of it as you're gonna learn how to do, some special kind of fighting techniques, right? You're not learning it for that. It's as simple as put it in your hand and then go straight in. Keep everything straight, into the face, into the throat, into the solar plexus. And then if it's in the other position and you support it with your thumb, this just keeps it from flying out of your hand, by the way, popping straight in like that. That's very strong. Someone's behind you, right into the groin, right? Turning, and I'd do it on the bag, but I did it on the other bag, and it made a hole. It went all the way in like that. That's very vicious. This is Cane Masters. If you look at that first link below, if you want to see what that looks like. Now that brings me to these other two weapons. These are my favorite self-defense weapons for seniors or anybody else, because anybody and everybody can carry this. You can almost carry this everywhere. This is just a walking stick. We call this a Joe in martial arts because of the length, but it's basically a hiking stick or a walking stick. This is a cane, right? The cane creates distance between you and the threat. The walking stick, the hiking stick, a little bit more distance. Now, if they have a knife, skateboard, chunk of concrete, all of the things that you see in the news these days that these thugs are coming up and attacking seniors with and older people with, they have a weapon. That's very scary. You don't want to get them anywhere near your body with that. You can be slashed, horrible lacerations, or being stabbed and cut, lacerates all the internal organs, and there's no way to save you from that. You're dead. So we want to create as much distance as possible, and this becomes this hard piece of oak. This one is, old man strength. I was doing some old man strength workout this morning with my kettlebells in the medicine bag, and I just looked around. What else could I pick up? I went out to the park looking for some rocks. I found rocks, but they weren't heavy enough. I picked them up though. And you pick them up and throw them. That's how you get stronger. But look at this. This one's hickory. Either one of these into the face, into the throat, into the solar plexus as a thrusting weapon. That now creates distance between you and the threat. And then striking from your shoulder with one hand on it or with two. And always two hands, you're going to be so much stronger, right? You start doing those, same thing as when you were doing the elbows. but now you're striking with this piece of hickory, and this doubles as a walking stick. Or you can get a dowel rod from Lowe's. I have both. If you keep them oiled, then they become very strong and sturdy. This one is oak. You're carrying it, it's inconspicuous. Bring it up between his legs. Lift him off the ground a little bit. Swing it up to the side of his head, right? You have to bring it down on top. Turn the hook around, and now you've got the Irish shillelagh, or a walking stick with a hook on it. Reach up, snatch him back. Now you're generating more force and more power because you have something in your hand, and it can help you balance a little bit. You know, you get knocked back, and then you on it, and then you can come forward. Whether you have two canes, one in each hand or not. Yeah, pocket flashlight, Peter. Peter's right, Peter Mueller. I have one of those in my glove box too. It's got a nasty ring on the end. It's made out of tungsten, so it's like high, extremely strong metal, and super bright at night. You bring it out, you blind them, and then it's a striking weapon. It just generates more power. So pocket flashlights, especially, I mean, just look it up, self-defense flashlight. They're very inexpensive. Don't buy the cheapest you can get though, because the cheapest fall apart. I use these things all the time. I stress test them, I beat them against stuff, and I'm always looking for the best one. The ones that I have, usually, they're military grade. And you pay a little bit more, but it lasts forever. You have a walking stick. It's the same thing. These Cane Masters products, if you look in the first link below, you can see what those are and what they go for. But this is just a way to generate a lot more power using what you have already. Your body's natural power, natural strength. But let me review. I want to go over that again because you may have just joined me, and I want to talk about the 3 most basic things that you can do right now as a senior, whether you have training or not. Number 1 is most people punch like this, and it's not that it's a half-hearted punch, they just don't know yet. You need to learn how to fully extend, and there's a little bit of a turn, whether it's a punch or a palm strike or an elbow strike. Full extension, that's number 1. Number 2 is turn through the midsection, turn through that midline so that you're coming across. All fights happen in the transverse plane. It's one of my favorite sayings from Pat Mack. I don't know if you guys know who Pat Mack is, Pat McNamara. He's got a really cool program where he teaches combat shooting. He's a former Delta operator, and those guys are assassins, right? I mean, that's all assassins and spies and all that stuff. But tier 1 operators. And he says all the time, fights happen in the transverse plane. So all of his workouts, all my workouts are designed to increase your ability to turn. And number 3 is to move your feet. So some gas stations have 5-foot-long windshield squeegees. Yeah, that's a great idea. My homework assignment a few weeks ago was look around for sticks you can use to fight with. And you just said the squeegees at the gas station. I never thought of that, but that's perfect. You pull that out, you have a jabbing weapon, you have a slashing weapon. You can have some coming out the bottom and a jab it this way. And yeah, it's just plastic. They're not designed to fight with, but you can use anything to defend yourself, anything that you can pick up that generates more power. If you're able to strike with your hands, or maybe you're not able to strike with your hands anymore because of arthritis, or you're not as strong, you're not comfortable punching with your hands, then go to palm strikes. Palm strikes are too much, go to elbow strikes. Elbow strikes, the hand is going to face the ground to generate more power to stop a bigger opponent, to generate more power to stop the attack. Palm down, turn your body, but don't just turn. Almost everybody turns and then it doesn't work for them, and that's because they don't have that first rule, which is extension. You have to turn, but also move forward. Not just turn here, but turn here. And the third part is moving your body with your feet. Don't move with your chin, but move with your body. Yeah, Jimmy said he was going to say palm strikes, but I beat him to it. Yes, Jimmy, palm strikes for sure. But then some people, they're not comfortable with palm strikes because that hurts their hand. But this, as long as you don't do this, if you do this, all that flesh is there. Do this, that's all bone, okay? The basic rule is, and then practice that. If you want it to happen for you the way you want it to happen, palms down, practicing. Now, to generate the most power you can generate with our elbow strikes, take one hand, put it over the other, and grab it. See that? That's that meat of my hand under the pinky. The other hand just comes in there, and I'm just squeezing that. Both hands are closed, and now you've created a bar. And you can shove that bar right through his face, and you can turn this way. And when you take hold of your other hand and you close the circle, you are now extremely strong compared to this. This is, I don't know exponentially if it's 5 times, 10 times, 1 time, but it's just common sense will tell you, try it. You are going to be way, way stronger when you do this. Now, when you practice your strikes, move your body forward by stepping forward. It's like if you are a boxer and you want speed, you snap and turn. That's called a speed jab. If you want knockout jab or knockout power, you move the front foot forward as you turn. Then you have the best of both. You have speed and knockout because you're moving your body moving into his chin. And like I said before, this whole conversation started with a video on Twitter that one of my clients sent me of a much older man in Europe. I think it was in Ireland, an Asian man. It said Asian, racial Asian thing or whatever. It probably was. Who knows? So it was some jerk who was just picking on an older person and a younger person. The younger person had no idea how to fight. He probably took Taekwondo and he's just kicking in the air and he keeps missing him. The older guy, he settled himself. When he had to, he pushed him out of the store a couple times, and you can see when he does it, he's moving with his whole body. So he understands those basic mechanics. And then when he has to, he has another choice. The guy's swinging at him, he's swinging at the young kid, and he's interrupted his business. He's trying to hurt them, and the guy just, bam! And he hits him with that right cross, right on the chin, and the guy's out unconscious in the doorway. The cops come and scoop him away. That's how it should happen. That's how we should be able to defend ourselves. And of course, horrible things are happening and other things could have happened, but good for that guy. Good for him, protecting him, his dignity, his family, his livelihood. And, he doesn't have to take that for some punk. And because he's had some training, but he did those 3 things. He did that extension, he turned the shoulder, and he moved his body into it. Now, one last reminder about moving your body, because a lot of people they'll hear me say, I used to say, move your head, and they just start doing, like the chicken neck, right? And then you say, no, move your body with your head attached. Move your body, right? Before you throw a punch, move your body. Come in, make it harder for them to hit you. Before every punch, move your body. After every punch, move your body. That's a different video, but move your body. And then when you go forward, move your body forward. But what people start to do is this. They start to move their chin in. Anytime you walk your chin in, you've seen it before, instant knockout. So you have to learn how to move your body forward and your hand stays in front of your chin so that when you hit, your whole body's stepping forward. So practice your stepping. Basic footwork drill would look something like this. For senior self-defense, to generate more knockout power, to generate power to stop the attack, step in, step back, step in, step back. And then, because this is smart, move to the side and move back. Learn how to throw 2 punches, move to the side, 2 punches, move back, step in on the punch, step over on the punch, step over on the punch, step back on the punch. Those are just things that you can practice to give yourself a little bit more skills as you're learning senior self-defense. But it comes down to extension, rotation, and commit your body weight to knock them out. And then learn how to use your elbows, make it stronger by holding your hands. And then finally, if you're comfortable carrying a weapon, and it's not, if you think about it, these are not weapons, right? This is not really a weapon. This is a window breaker. This is a hiking stick. You've seen that movie, the Eddie Murphy movie, Coming to America, and it's a movie, right? So it's a movie, but the principles are the same. And Samuel L. Jackson comes in, he's got the shotgun, it's the first movie, and he's terrorizing everybody, give me the money, I'm gonna blow your effing brains out, all that stuff. And Eddie Murphy just calmly unscrews his mop handle, and he's standing there with it like this, telling the guy, calm down, you're scaring these people. And the guy starts screaming, I'm gonna, bam! And he comes straight up, knocks his weapon out of the way, and then swoom! I think he comes around, boom! and he sweeps his leg out. That's an actual technique. Does it work? Yes. It's even more effective if you're carrying it like this. You're out for a walk in the dog, and then you bring your hands here. Now you've got two hands on it. Or you bring it across the body. Now you've got two hands on it. Or you're using it as a walking stick, and you point your thumb, and then you can thrust. And then you can strike. You can bring the backhand around, down on top. All with a simple walking or hiking stick, and it's ambidextrous. Use it in either hand. Or maybe you've got your cane, and you're like, hey, back up. And you put the cane between you and the threat, and now you have all this distance. You have thrusting, you have striking. Down here, you can bring it in for a rifle bayonet attack or a butt strike. You reach up, snatch them across. If they grab hold of it, turn and drive them to the ground. And it's very effective because you're generating more force, more power to stop the attack using some simple everyday things that you might be using anyway. You might be using a walking cane or a walking stick. And the nice thing about the walking cane, especially in the United States, is that the Americans with Disabilities Act allows you to take this everywhere you go. There's no place you're not allowed to take it. It's a mobility device, a mechanical mobility device. They have electric and mechanical or whatever, powered or non-powered. This is non-powered. And then the HIPAA law, the Health Information Privacy Act, says that if someone says to you, why do you need that cane? You don't have to answer them. You can say, look, that's my personal privacy. That's my personal medical information. I don't have to tell you. You can say that to a cop. You can say that to the TSA agent. You can say that to the bus driver. You can't stop me from coming in here because of the Americans with Disabilities Act. And you can't say that I don't need it. It's none of your business. You're not even allowed to ask me. And they will, somebody will, but you can just remind them. And if you carry, there's a pocket card. If you go and you look at this link below, go and look at it and just write it down if you want to. Or get the card and put it in your wallet. And it tells you exactly what to say if someone challenges you in carrying a walking cane. Now this you can't take as many places. You can't take this on the plane, but you can take this on the plane. And again, what is this? That's a tooth to generate more power to stop the attack, right? I mean, it just rips everything. It'll take the eye out or dig it into the muscle and dig it into the body. And that, the Princess Zamunda. Thank you. I always call it Wakanda, but I think that was Wakanda. I think that was the Panther movie. But holding it here, it's a jabbing weapon, right? Hook them in the head, turn it around, hook them back this way. Hook punch, and then use the crook right there. Slashing. Put two hands on it. Now you've got a shillelagh, an Irish fighting stick. And it's very effective. You put two hands on it, you can box them, knock them back, shove them back. Rifle attack. A lot of ex-military know how to do all this stuff. You learned this in boot camp. May have been 60 years ago, but they burned it into your brain. They burned it into mine. I know it's burned into your brain. You already know how to do this stuff. And maybe it just gives you an opportunity to leave the house a little bit more often, get more movement, more mobility, and start to get your health back. And have a little bit more confidence that if you have to, you can say, hey, buddy, back up. You don't have to like me, but you can't come any closer. You don't have to like me, but you can't talk to me that way. You don't have to agree with me politically, but you can't physically harm me. Get out of my space. It's my right to say and think right? I mean, that's your human right. This just gives you an opportunity to protect it. And of course, law enforcement is supposed to do that. But learn how to be your own first responder. Maybe they don't get there in time. Maybe the laws are changing. Maybe society in some places around the country, in the United States and other places, they're making cops they don't want to respond. Maybe you have to learn how to respond. They're not responding as fast because they're afraid to get in trouble for doing their job. And I'm not getting all political. I'm just talking about the news, the headlines. So learn how to defend yourself. Learn how to generate more power. Senior self-defense is all about using what you have already and applying some basic techniques. This is a basic way to do it. Extension, turn, move your body. We'll do this again in a little bit. Thank you guys for being so much. Thanks to the new members who joined today.